Hi, I'm Brad Zarin, Superintendent of the Sun Prairie Area School District. I hope this message finds you well. Well, it's no surprise that we have growing pains, enrollment growing pains, that is. And you can see it in the drop-off lanes in the morning when you're dropping kids off at school. You can see it if you have the chance to walk through a school and look at the class assemblies. And you can also see it in playgrounds. Our situation is clear. Our elementary schools are full. More students will enroll next year. Shuttling remains an extremely unpopular practice. Any potential new building would not be ready until the fall of 2018, and it's our job to help children be successful. And we must fulfill our duty of welcoming every child into a caring and safe environment. The question remains, however, how do we go about doing this? Last year, the School Space Planning Committee convened. That committee was composed of parents and students and administrators and community members and board members. They discussed options, weighed out the pros and cons of those options, produced some guidance for us to consider in exploring potential ways to cope with enrollment growth. The group discussed online school, renting space, raising class sizes, adding portable classrooms, increasing shuttling, displacing art and music teachers and then repurposing those classrooms, repurposing large group discussion classrooms, and a number of other options. The most supported short-term solution for coping with enrollment growth until a new building can be considered by the public and constructed was moving some fifth grade classrooms to our middle schools, since there is some classroom square footage open at the middle schools. Now there's not much room, but enough to help us deal with short-term enrollment solutions. Since then, our elementary principals and our middle school principals have been meeting to discuss these options. They've also tried to weigh out the pros and cons, carefully consider the feedback that we received from parents, teachers, and community members in last year's School Space Planning Committee, and fashion some possible options to consider. These options have to include at least 2 years of enrollment capacity, have to be relatively low cost in order not to cut elsewhere, and have to reflect our commitment to safety. Because of this feedback from last year's School Space Planning Committee, one of these options is moving some fifth grade classrooms to our middle schools. Since Horizon and Eastside have the most significant outward shuttling, it may make most sense to have the fifth graders from those specific schools move to our middle schools, the ones that they would eventually attend. With this room then, it permits the other outwardly shuttled students to move back to their attendance area schools, thereby significantly reducing shuttling. Now I want you to know that this situation is not ideal, and there's plenty of uncertainty out there for everyone involved. Questions such as, what do we do with classroom libraries? What about student bell schedules? What about teacher staffing? Classroom locations, recess time, busing timetables, even lunch menus, and the list goes on. You need to know that we've got great principals working on these issues and beginning to resolve some of the uncertainty, and they are very good at what they do. I know that this is an important matter to you, and it's also important to us. Once our principal group considers all of the temporary options to cope with enrollment growth and to significantly reduce the shuttling of our students, this recommendation will go to a school board planning committee. There, the school board planning committee will also weigh out the pros and cons of the recommendation, look at the goals of the situation, and reflect on that recommendation. Finally, the board will then decide on the recommendation for the temporary option to cope with this enrollment growth. This gives the administrative team the entire second semester to resolve the details involved in this short-term solution. Now, this is a lot to take in, and I certainly understand the emotion behind this decision. I hope this message has been helpful. I'd also like to personally invite you to reach out to me with any questions or concerns that you have. Take care, and we'll see you soon.